most welcome to this English class here. And you just look at the screen, and here you see he is a very famous person. Perhaps by this time you have already known the name of him. Yes, his name is Mark Twain, right? And he is a writer. He has written a lot of books for us, and that means as he is a writer, he has written so many things about human life. Okay, and about his so many sayings. I chooses this saying very much. I like it very much for us. Actually, this is very important. This saying bears a very important message for human being, right? That's why I like it very much. Look at this picture, and there you see two friends are there. Of course, you have so many friends like them. So that these friends are called bosom friend or close friend. Okay, so these two friends, when they meet together, when they see themselves each other, they usually shake hands. So I simply make one sentence that when he saw his friend, he shook hand. Okay. And someone says, if I ask any student, he will say, no sir, he saw his friend and shook hand. Okay, and then I ask another boy, just make a sentence using this picture, looking at this picture, and he will write down, no sir, seeing his friend he shook hand. It will be. So look at these three sentences. As you see, all these three. Next, if I ask you which one is correct sentence in these three sentences, okay, of course all these sentences are correct. There is no mistake. Okay, so how is it possible? That means the sentence is of three kinds. One is simple, complex, and compound, right? And if we just go for the meaning of these sentences, we will see there is no change in the meaning. For example, when I say, when he saw his friend, he shook hand. যখন সে তার বন্ধুকে দেখেছিল, তখন সে হ্যান্ডশেক করেছিল. He saw his friend and shook hand. সে তার বন্ধুকে দেখলো এবং হ্যান্ডশেক করলো. Seeing his friend, he shook hand. তার বন্ধুকে দেখে সে হ্যান্ডশেক করলো. দেখো যে meaning is same. Or meaning is absolutely same. Okay. But if you look at the structures are completely different. Because in this sentence, we see when. But in this sentence, we don't have any when. In this sentence, we have and. But in this sentence, we don't have any conjunction at all. That means structures are different, but meaning are same. So, whenever we form one sentence in another and without changing meaning, this is called transformation of sentence. This is called transformation of sentence. So another question, what is transformation of sentence? Transformation of sentence means to shift or change or form one structure into another without changing meaning is called a transformation of sentence. Perhaps now guess what is your topic today? Your topic is transformation of sentence. Absolutely right answer, you are thinking about it. And if you have any question, don't forget to ask me. Of course, don't forget to ask me. As I have said you, that will be the most important day of your life if you ask me any question. Okay, so let's see. This is a sentence as I shown you, right? When he saw his friend, he shook hand. So in this sentence, you see there are two parts. One is when he saw his friend, and the part is he shook hand. So in this two part, we have two subject and two finite verbs. Two subject and two finite verbs are there, right? Okay, and if we divide this sentence into two parts, having one subject and one finite verb, then we get this part. He shook hand. And this part is called a clause. Look at this word. This is a clause. And clause is a very important word in transformation of sentence. And so another question, what is a clause? A clause is a part of a sentence which has one subject and one finite verb. A clause is a part of a sentence which has one subject and one finite verb. Okay, perhaps you can understand if I ask you again, what is a clause? then you have to say the part of a sentence which has one subject and one finite verb is called a clause. That means in this sentence we have two clauses. This part is a clause, he shook his hand, and another part when he saw his friend, because in that part you will also find one subject and one finite verb. Okay, that's why these two clauses are in this sentence. These two parts are called two clauses, right? So, and if we come to this part or this clause, he shook hand, and if we just give full stop, it can express the full meaning itself. That's why this part is called a principal clause. Now the question, what is a principal clause? The clause that can express its meaning itself without the help of any other clauses is called a principal clause. And just opposite of it is subordinate clause. Then if I ask you what is subordinate clause, then we will have to say the clause that cannot express its meaning itself, it needs or takes the help of the principal clauses, is called a subordinate clause. Okay, and in this sentence we have two types of clauses. One is principal clause and the one is subordinate clause. Okay, let's see. Yes, that is a subordinate clause, and we have another clause that is called a principal clause, and that's why the sentence which has one principal clause and one subordinate clause, at least one subordinate clause, because there may have more than one subordinate clauses, that sentence is called a complex sentence. Perhaps you understand complex. Now if I ask you again, what is a complex sentence? And the answer is very easy. The sentence which has one principal clause and at least one subordinate clause is called a complex sentence. Very easy. Now there are a few questions I will ask you later, so you keep in mind all of these things. I will ask you what is a clause, what is a principal clause, what is a subordinate clause later on. Now no need to write down. Okay. And the second sentence that I went for in the last slide, here you see he saw his friend and shook hand. Okay, so look at the sentence. If we divide it into two parts, then we will get one subject and one verb. This verb is called finite verb. Perhaps you have heard this name again, finite verb. And what is a finite verb? Finite verb is a verb that can express its meaning itself, that can complete the sense of the sentence, or that is changed according to tense and the person and number of subject. তার মানে যে ভার্ব নিজেই সম্পূর্ণ অর্থ প্রকাশ করে সেন্টেন্সে, এবং যে ভার্ব বাদ দিলেও সেন্টেন্স অর্থ প্রকাশ করতে পারে না, এবং যে ভার্ব টেন্স এবং সাবজেক্টের পার্সন এবং নাম্বার অনুযায়ী পরিবর্তিত হয়, তাকে বলা হচ্ছে ফাইনাইট ভার্ব। And just opposite of finite verb is called non-finite verb. Okay, perhaps two things is very clear. I will ask you later what is a finite verb and what is a non-finite verb. So in this sentence we have two finite verbs. You look at, first one is saw and the second one is shook. Okay, so in this sentence we have two finite verbs, and of course two subject, because first subject was he, and the second we have also another subject here, that is also he. But if there is same subject added by and, usually second subject is omitted. Usually second subject is omitted. That's why I have not written down he, but he is there. He is there. He is silent or understood here. Okay, that's why this sentence has two clauses. As it has two parts having two subject and two finite verbs. That's why it has two clauses. And what are they? The first one, he saw his friend, it can express meaning itself. That's why it is a principal clause. Okay, and there is also another clause. Can you see? Can you say what is that clause? Yes, that is also principal clause. That is also principal clause. Now the question, why? How? Yes, look at this conjunction. This conjunction is called coordinating conjunction. And when is a subordinating conjunction? And perhaps I have told you about the find out. There are so many conjunctions, you are sometimes getting confused which one is coordinating and which one is subordinating. That's why I have given you a short formula for that. Fanboys, perhaps you can recall that word, F-A-N-B-O-Y-S, fanboys. And in this word fanboys, you can see all coordinating conjunctions. Like fanboys, fan, F for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y for yet, S for so. Fanboys, in this abbreviations, we have almost all coordinating conjunctions. Okay, this beside all of these coordinating conjunctions, the conjunctions that we will find are subordinating conjunctions. Okay, this is one simple way, the easiest way to identify between coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. That's why আমরা coordinating conjunctions গুলো যদি at least identify করতে পারি, you can identify them, separate them from subordinating, because subordinating conjunction has a huge list. তাহলে it will be very easy for you to remind that, right? Okay, so he saw his friend and shook hand. So this is not a simple sentence. This is a compound sentence. This is a compound sentence. And how? Because this sentence has two clauses, two principal clauses. If I ask you now, what is a compound sentence? And the answer is very simple. The sentence which has two or more principal clauses is called a compound sentence. And what is a complex? The sentence which has one principal clause and one subordinate clause. Perhaps you find out the difference between these two sentences. And the last one, I will go for the last example. Seeing his friend, he shook hand. Seeing his friend, he shook hand. You look at this sentence and see, in this sentence, if we divide it into two parts, then we will see seeing his friend. Is there any finite verb? Is there any finite verb? Okay, let's see. And he shook hand. In this sentence, we have the finite verb, right? The verb is shook and subject is he. So, and that is called a phrase. Seeing his friend is called a phrase, not a clause. Now, you must have a question. What is the difference between phrase and clause? Of course, the answer is before you. Because in a phrase, there is no subject and no finite verb. But in clause, there is one subject and one finite verb. That means, what is the difference? A clause has one subject and one finite verb. But in phrase, there is no subject and no finite verb. But both are part of a sentence. দুটাই কিন্তু সেন্টেন্সের অংশ। ঠিক আছে? So, seeing his friend, there is no subject and finite verb. That's why these words are called a phrase. Okay? So, in this sentence, we have one subject and one finite verb. And that's why this is called a simple sentence. Perhaps you can understand now, and the definition of simple sentence, ask you, what is a simple sentence? And your answer is with you, right? Your answer is with you is that simple sentence is a sentence which has one subject and one finite verb. Which has one subject and one finite verb. If we look at these two sentences, when he saw his friend, he shook hand, and he saw his friend and shook hand. So, between these two sentences, what is the difference? If I give these two sentences to any of the students studying in KG 1, 2, 3, and if I ask him or her, so Baba, can you tell me what is the difference between two sentences? What will he say or she say? Will he say or she say, oh sir, there is a subordinate clause, there is a principal clause, and there is a subordinating conjunction, there is a coordinate? Will he answer or she answer in that way? No. So he will match word by word. ঠিক আছে, word by word, and we'll say which one is absent in this sentence. And if you match in that way, you see in the first sentence there is he, in the second sentence there is he, saw, his friend. Okay, he, এখানে he missing, as I have told you, he আছে, তাহলে heও আছে এখানে, shook hand. So what is the difference? The difference is only in conjunction. We have used in the first sentence, we have used when, but in the second sentence, that is compound, we have used and. So just this is the take. Between these two sentences, the difference is only in the conjunctions. And if I ask you another sentence just to make it compound, or if I say when it was raining outside, I stopped my class. So what is the compound? Then just simply you just look at the two clauses. When it was raining outside, I stopped the class. So you just kick out when. So start the sentence. It was raining outside and I stopped the class. And your answer is correct. So in place of when, we will just simply use and. And this is the very easy way. And any sentence now you can make it compound. While it was raining, I could not go out. So it was raining and I could not go out. When it was 6 o'clock, we will stop the class. So it was 6 o'clock, it is 6 o'clock and we will stop the class. Okay, so easy indeed. Perhaps you can understand and you can easily make a compound sentence, complex sentence into compound one. Now the question, how to make it simple? How to make it a simple sentence? This is the toughest question, and that is the toughest answer. Okay, because we call it a simple sentence, but actually it is not simple at all. This is the hardest sentence and this is the most complex one. I must say, আমাকে যদি কেউ নামকরণ করতে বলতো যে সেন্টেন্সের আবার তিনটা নামকরণ করা, তখন আমি বলতাম যে complex, compound and most complex. Okay, I would say the simple sentence কে বলতাম যে most complex. Okay, you see this simple sentence is not simple at all. So in simple sentence we have one subject, one finite verb, but this will be simple and easier, of course, if you can just do a math. You can solve a mathematical problem, right? Okay, if I ask you just do this sum, 2s plus 2f থেকে 1s plus 1f কে বাদ দিতে হবে, তাহলে আসলে কি থাকবে? দুইটা সাবজেক্ট প্লাস দুইটা ফাইনাইট ভার্ব থেকে একটা সাবজেক্ট আর একটা ফাইনাইট ভার্ব বাদ দিলে কি থাকবে? অবশ্যই তোমাদের উত্তর রাইট হয়েছে, একটা সাবজেক্ট এবং একটা ফাইনাইট ভার্ব থাকবে। এই অঙ্কটা তুমি যে করতে পারবে সেই আসলে সিম্পল সেন্টেন্স বানাতে পারবে। Probably this is not the hardest math at all. Most of you are students of science group, so if you can do this math, your grammar will be easier one. What did I want to mean? Okay, so that means in complex and compound sentences we have two subject and two finite verbs, but in simple sentence we have one subject and one finite verb. So what we don't have in a simple sentence, তাহলে simple sentence আমাদের কি নেই? Right, simple sentence আমাদের কি নেই? একটা সাবজেক্ট আর একটা ফাইনাইট ভার্ব নেই। তার মানে কি, আমরা কমপ্লেক্স বা কম্পাউন্ড থেকে যদি সিম্পল করতে চাই তাহলে আমাকে কি করতে হবে? একটা সাবজেক্ট আর একটা ফাইনাইট ভার্ব বাদ দিয়ে দিতে হবে, তাহলে এটা সিম্পল হয়ে যাবে। খুব সহজ কথা। ইয়েস, তাহলে কি করতে হবে? একটা সাবজেক্ট আর একটা ফাইনাইট ভার্বকে বাদ দিয়ে দিতে হবে, তাহলে কিন্তু কি হয়ে যাবে? এটা সিম্পল হয়ে যাবে। তাহলে আমরা খুব সহজে শিখে নিলাম ট্রান্সফরমেশন, এত বড় কঠিন একটা বিষয়কে আমরা এখন হাতের মুঠোর মধ্যে নিয়ে আসলাম। কিভাবে? কমপ্লেক্স থেকে আমরা কম্পাউন্ডে যেতে হলে কনজাংশন গুলো পাল্টাতে হবে। কমপ্লেক্স বা কম্পাউন্ড থেকে আমরা যদি সিম্পল আসতে চাই তাহলে একটা সাবজেক্টের একটা ফাইনাইট ভার্বকে কিক আউট করে দিতে হবে, বাদ দিয়ে দিতে হবে। এখন বাদ দিলে তো সেন্টেন্সের অর্থ পরিবর্তন হয়ে যাবে। সো আমাকে তখন ফর্ম পাল্টে দিতে হবে। ফাইনাইট ভার্বকে নন ফাইনাইট বানাতে হবে, সাবজেক্টিভ ফর্মকে অবজেক্টিভ অথবা পসেসিভ ফর্মে নিয়ে যেতে হবে, ঠিক আছে? তখন আর এটা সাবজেক্ট থাকবে না। ওকে, দ্যাটস গুড. So perhaps you can understand the simple equation and the easiest way how you can transform from one sentence to another. Okay, let's go next. We'll go now one by one, rule one by one. Okay, so there is a sentence you see, as he was ill, he could not attend the meeting. Not very hard one indeed. So I'll just solve it now. You need not to write down. As he was ill, he could not attend the meeting. As I told you that just to make it compound, conjunction পাল্টাতে হবে। তার মানে as রয়েছে, there is a conjunction as, and in place of as তোমাকে অবশ্যই this time you have to know which conjunction you will have to use. আমি যদি এখানে সব জায়গায় একই conjunction বসাই, that will not be fair, that will not be the right answer. Okay, so when we will have to use that and what conjunction we will use, you have to know. That is called the relationships between conjunctions. Of course, at the end of the class we will go for a list of the conjunctions and then we will know what is the relationship between conjunctions. Okay, so you have to go for the last of the class for that. Okay, so if we want to make it compound, the simple thing, we will use and in place of as. Okay, as টাকে আমরা তুলে দিব, এন্ডটা কনজাংশন বসিয়ে দিব। এটা ছোট একটা ক্লাস 1-2 বাচ্চাকেও যদি এটা দেওয়া হয়, he or she will be able to do it, but I hope you will also be able to do it. Okay, so সোজা কথা, as থাকলে, since থাকলে, when থাকলে, যখন কম্পাউন্ড করব, at that moment শুধু in place of just কনজাংশনটাকে আমরা কিক আউট করে দিব, and then we will use and your answer will be right. Yes, absolutely, your answer is correct. That's the easiest one. I think everyone can do it. And how we can make it simple? Because of his being ill, he could not attend the meeting, right? So this is simple. And how did I make simple sentence here? Because of this is a phrase I have used in place of as or and or clause that refers to reason. কারণ বোঝায়, reason clause. তো কারণ যেটা বোঝায়, তো সেই ক্লজের পূর্বে আমি কি বসিয়েছি? বিকজ অফ বসিয়েছি। গুড, ভেরি গুড, বিকজ অফ। তারপরে যে সাবজেক্ট ছিল, সেই সাবজেক্টটা আমি 2-3 ভাবে চেঞ্জ করতে পারি। সাবজেক্ট যদি এক হয়, দুইটা ক্লজের সাবজেক্ট এক হলে আমি প্রথম সাবজেক্টটাকে তুলে দিব, কোনো প্রয়োজন নেই। দুইটা সাবজেক্ট যদি এমন হয় যে একটা নাউন আছে, একটা প্রোনাউন আছে, তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে নাউনটাকে আমরা প্রোনাউনের ওখানে নিয়ে আসবো, কারণ আমরা সবসময় দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজটা কিন্তু চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে না, সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজটা সবসময় চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে। তাহলে আমরা সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজে যদি নাউন থাকে আর প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজে প্রোনাউন থাকে, তাহলে ওই নাউনটাকে আমরা তুলে নিয়ে এসে জাস্ট প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজে প্রোনাউন হিসাবে বসাবো, ব্যাস, দুইটা উপায় চলে গেল। 3 নাম্বার উপায়, সাবজেক্ট যদি সম্পূর্ণ ডিফারেন্ট হয়, কমপ্লিটলি ডিফারেন্ট হয়, যখন আমাদের তোলার বা পরিবর্তনের কোনো ওয়ে নেই, তখন আমাকে সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজের সাবজেক্টের দিকে একবার তাকাতে হবে ভালো করে, and we have to see whether the subject is animate or inanimate, মানে সাবজেক্টটা প্রাণীবাচক না অপ্রাণীবাচক, এটা খেয়াল করতে হবে। যদি প্রাণীবাচক হয় তাহলে তার পসেসিভ ফর্ম করতে হবে, আর যদি অপ্রাণীবাচক হয় তাহলে তার পরিবর্তন হবে না। Okay, I will go for examples for that. So let's see. Yes, and subject is saying, that's why subject আমরা এখানে রেখেছি, after that you can take the subject. আমি যদি হিসটাকে তুলেও দিই তাহলে কোনো সমস্যা নেই, your answer will be correct then. So because of his being ill, he could not attend the meeting, or you can also write down because of his illness he could not attend the meeting. Some of you have written being ill he could not attend the meeting. That is also correct answer, but I must say, as there is because of, as since, একটা reason clause যদি থাকে কখনো, reason clause, you understand যে there will be 2 part of a sentence, one will be the reason, another will be the effect or the result. এখানে দেখো as he was ill, যেহেতু সে অসুস্থ ছিল, he could not attend the meeting, প্রথমটা আগেরটা হচ্ছে reason, কারণ, তারপরটা হচ্ছে ফলাফল। এই কারণ আর ফলাফল এরকম এমন যদি থাকে একটা সেন্টেন্সের মধ্যে, তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে বিকজ অফ লেখাটা বেস্ট, বিকজ অফ লেখাটা বেস্ট। বাট ইফ দেয়ার আর 2 incidents যেমন seeing him I ran away. So এটা কিন্তু two incidents, mere two incidents. So in that case আমরা because of না লিখলেও সমস্যা নেই. But whenever there is a reason and there is a effect of the result, two clauses are there. So just to change the reason clause, you have to use because of. So of course your answer, I will not say it is incorrect if you simply write down being ill, but because of is the best answer. Okay, you can understand perhaps. So in spite of being ill, I have used illness, that you can also write down. That's good. Some of you are writing the correct answer. Excellent, thank you. So your software is here. Because of, after because of, we'll use the possessive form of subject. We'll use the possessive form of subject. Now you will ask me what is a possessive form. So I will say possessive form, a noun or the pronoun has three forms. Okay, has three forms. One is called subjective, another one is called objective, another one is called possessive form, right? So for example, he, him, his, she, her, they, them, their. So this pronoun has three forms, and we have to use the possessive form, that means the third form, right, of pronoun. This software is very, very important, and you have to keep it in your memory. If you cannot do that, I have nothing to say, nothing to do with you, because you cannot run this computer without the software. Can we? We cannot. And we need a software, right? And if you want to do better in transformation of sentence, then this software is a must, and you have to keep it in your brain, in your memory. If you cannot do that, I'm really sorry. I have nothing to do or say to you. Okay? But if you can keep it in your memory, then I have a lot of things to say or do with you. Okay? That's why this is a must, and you will just memorize it. I don't know how it will be, but of course you will have to do it. Okay? So the rule or the first software for you is that as since because, in place of as since because, you will have to use because of, and just to make it simple, a compound, we have to use and or so. Very simple, and perhaps you have just read it and mind it clearly. Okay? And this is your turn now. Let's try. Okay, perhaps if you understand that, you will be able to do it. So this is your turn. Now you write down the answer. As he studies well, he will pass in the exam. Please write down the answer of this question. Just make it simple and compound. If you just make it compound, so you will see we will use just simply and. So he studies well and will pass in the exam. Very simple thing. You will use and just in place of as since থাকলে আমরা and বসাবো, right? That's good, correct answer, thank you. And just to make it simple, you will have to use because of and the subject, possessive form of subject, and then verb plus ing. As there is am, is, are, so in place of am, is, are, you will use being. After have, has, had, you will use having, and if there is any verb, you will have to use verb plus ing. But be careful about the spelling of starting. Sometimes you omit y, but mind it, y will not be omitted. Okay? So because of his studying well, he will pass in the exam. Absolutely correct answer. And so easy. I will give another example. This time you please write down. I want to see who can write down the first. Since the boy was idle, he failed in the exam. Since the boy was idle, he failed in the exam. Please write down. Yes, Rubai, thank you, Baba. Congratulations, you're the first to write down the answer. Thank you. The boy was idle and he failed in the exam. That's good. Right answer. Absolutely, because the boy being idle. Yes, this time Sonia Parvin, your answer is correct. But the boy টাকে যদি আমরা পরে নিয়ে যেতাম তাহলে বেস্ট হতো উত্তরটা। Because of his being idle, the boy failed in the exam. It would be the best answer. One thing that you have to be careful, there are two subjects. Two subjects are same, but one is pronoun, another one is noun. And in this sentence, the subject was same, but two are pronoun. দুইটাই pronoun ছিল। But এই সেন্টেন্সে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে একটা noun আর একটা pronoun. So একটা noun আর একটা pronoun থাকলে তোমাকে কি করতে হবে, যেহেতু এটা আমরা সবসময় subordinate clause টাকে চেঞ্জ করি, এই জন্য তোমার সাবঅর্ডিনেট ক্লজের নাউনটাকে এখানে নিয়ে আসতে হবে, তাহলে এখানে আর কিছু থাকলো না। তাহলে এই যে বিকজ অফ বিং ইল, বিকজ অফ তারপর বিং বসিয়ে আইডিয়াল দ্য বয় ফেইলড ইন দ্য এক্সাম আমরা পরে নিয়ে যাব, দ্যাট উইল বি দ্য বেস্ট আনসার, রাইট? অবশ্যই দেয়ার ইজ সাম ডিফারেন্স। এই যে ডিফারেন্স লক্ষ্য করো। So in the first sentence, to subject was same but two are pronouns. But in the second subject, to subject was same. One was noun and the one is pronoun. And in the third sentence, you see, or you can also write down the answer in that way. Because of his idleness, the boy failed in the exam. Okay. And now look at this third sentence. Okay, you please write down the answer of since the weather was rough, we could not go there. So okay, let's see. Here you see subject is different here also, right? But there are two different subject. One is the personal subject, ব্যক্তিবাচক, আর একটা সাবজেক্ট যেটা আছে সেই সাবজেক্টটা কিন্তু ব্যক্তিবাচক নয়। So whenever there are two different subjects in two different clauses, then you have to be very careful that you have to look at the subject of the subordinate clause, and you will have to see whether the subject is animate or inanimate. Perhaps you understand these two words, animate or inanimate. Animate মানে প্রাণীবাচক, inanimate মানে অপ্রাণীবাচক. As I have told you to make the possessive form of subject, but be careful, if your subject is inanimate মানে অপ্রাণীবাচক, then you cannot make the possessive form of your inanimate subject. Okay, suppose the weather, the sky, these are inanimate subject, অপ্রাণীবাচক, that's why এগুলো পসিভ হয় না। We cannot make the possessive form of জড় বস্তু মানে inanimate thing, okay, যেগুলো প্রাণ নেই, তারা কোনো কিছু possess করতে পারে না, that's why we cannot make the possessive form of them. For example, we cannot say chair's leg, we cannot say chair-এর পা, we cannot say chair's leg because chair cannot possess that leg, but we can say Humayun's leg or Rahman's leg. Okay, yes, we can say that because Humayun or Rahman actually they possess that leg. And the weather, দেখো weather একটা inanimate বা অপ্রাণীবাচক, that's why inanimate বা অপ্রাণীবাচক সাবজেক্ট পরিবর্তন হবে না, and your answer will be there. Because of the weather being rough, we could not go out. The next exercise, next rule is there. Okay, this time you see, look at the sentence here. You see complex, though the man is poor, he is happy. Okay, so here the conjunction is though. So first of all, you have to identify a sentence, what type of sentence it is, whether it's a simple, complex or compound. Here I have already written down the name complex, that means it is a complex sentence. And now the question, you have to make it compound and simple. So how? Very simple, that in place of though we will simply use in spite of. In place of as since because we use because of, but in this time in place of though or although we will use in spite of. But be careful about the phrase in spite of. These three words are different, you have to write down differently, right? The in alada, spite alada, of alada. But despite কিন্তু একটা শব্দ, এর পরিবর্তে লিখতে পারো, but after despite we do not use any of. Okay, in spite of his being poor, so the man is happy, or you can also write down the man is poor but he is happy, or you can also write down the man is poor but happy. Okay, so in this way you can make it simple, complex and simple. Okay. Sorry, compound and simple, I'm sorry. And then so your software is there, right? So some of you have written the exactly correct answer, thank you, congratulations. So you see, in place of though although, what type of conjunction it is? It is a subordinating conjunction, always remain in complex sentence, you can mind it. And in place of though although we will use in spite of, or despite, you can also write down despite. And just to make it compound we will use but, use but. And this is your software that you have to keep it in your memory, right? And if your software is okay, installed in your brain properly, then we can go next. Okay, let's try. So though there was water, we could not drink it. Okay, so very simple thing to make it compound, we'll use but, And just very simple thing we will use because, though, in spite of, just to make it simple. Yes, two answers will be for you. In spite of there being water, we could not drink it, and there was water, but we could not drink it. Perhaps this is very simple, and you know. It's very easy, of course. So though there was water, in place of though we have used in spite of, and we have used but. So you please write down the answer of this sentence. Though he attended school, his father got absent messages. You please write down the answer of this sentence. Just make it simple. No need to use compound. Make compound, because this very easy compound is to use but only. Though to the but boshabo, but just write down the simple sentence from this sentence. Right, your answer is correct. And here you see in place of though, we'll have to use just only in spite of or despite. But be careful about the use of despite, because after despite we do not use any preposition. Okay, and your answer is correct. Despite or in spite of his attending school, his father got absent messages, and that's the correct answer. And he attended school, but his father got absent messages. Probably your answers are absolutely right. So please write down your homework. Your homework is question number 1 to 10. It's EV for homework and exercise book. You will have to complete it at home, right? And there is an application you have to write, learn, and write in your copy. So thank you very much for attending the class. I really appreciate your participation in this class. So see you in the next class. Bye. Allah Hafiz.